The Secrets of Stargate is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, episode 56.
Janet West, Jackson has identified the seventh symbol.
All right, here we go. We are about to try to make a connection.
All we gotta do is bust out of here, commandeer the ship, and fly on home.
Indeed. You say that a lot.
I know that this could be dangerous. But this is our job, right? It's what we signed on to do.
It was never about going home. It's about getting us to where we're going.
Hi, I'm Jack Baruzzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where I talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers from the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Sticha. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. How's it going, Victor?
Hi, Jack.
Today we are discussing the 14th episode of Season 3, Foothold. But before we jump into that, I wanted to mention that they're doing another one of those Stargate AI episodes. They have put out the trailer for that a couple weeks ago. It's going to have Michael Shanks and Richard Dean Anderson and Amanda Tapping all coming back to reprise their roles. That's going to be coming out on May 21st, and I believe it's through the Companion app. It's going to be through that service again, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yeah, from the teaser. Yeah, from the teaser trailer you showed, it looks like this one is more credible as a script. Like they acknowledged that the first one was kind of goofy from AI, and Amanda Tapping says this one might be more like coherent.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be good to see. And Richard Dean Anderson is looking good. Like he's like in character, quippy and stuff. Yeah. So this should be one to watch, even if Christopher Judge is notably absent.
Yeah. I've noticed that recently it looks like he's been getting back into shape. So I'm fingers crossed that that's a good sign for them moving forward with something Stargate, because that's what happened with Jonathan Frakes when he was filming the second season of Discovery. A lot of people had commented that it looked like he'd been going to the gym more and then got to play Riker again. So I wonder if he's getting back in gear for playing Jack O'Neill.
You could,
yeah.
I do wonder with the first attempt at the AI if they realize, okay, we've got to massage this a lot more. They advertise, oh yes, this is all written by Google's artificial intelligence. Like I bet you they threw, they whatever the intelligence threw out, they said, no, let's change this a little bit and let's move this and let's make it a little bit more of an actual storyline instead of just random.
Yeah, they have to finesse those things. And a lot of times when you see those AI scripts or this book was written by an AI, it's more like you give the AI a bunch of input and it spits out a bunch of stuff, and then you have to assemble it into something partly coherent. So, but it's still a cool project. I don't think that AI is ever going to replace human writers like some people claim, but who knows?
Well, I mean, once Terminators have taken over the world, somebody still has to do the writing. It just can't be humans.
I can think of some shows that I feel like an AI would do better writing on. Picard.
Discovery.
Strange New Worlds.
Yep.
Gone. You're out of here.
That was more just like a Star Trek vanilla template and go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress.
We'll talk about that tomorrow on The Secrets of Star Trek, and I can promise you it'll be more positive.
How do we know Alec Kurtzman isn't an AI? How do we know? Yeah, I mean, any one of us could be AIs.
Hey, and we got our Star Trek references in right off the bat.
Exactly.
Out of the way.
Yep. Awesome. We are discussing the 14th episode of Season 3 today, which is Foothold. SG-1 returns from a mission only to be told to go immediately to the infirmary because of a chemical leak. They are all sedated, but Teal'c and Sam wake up because of their gold components. They discover that the SGC has been infiltrated by aliens, and Sam is able to escape with Teal'c's help. But Teal'c is captured. Sam contacts Mayborn and meets him in DC, who helps her out, but he himself is deceived by the aliens posing as Jack and Daniel. On the way back to the SGC, Sam and Mayborn discover that the Jack and Daniel with them are imposters. They kill the aliens, and Sam uses the mimetic device to impersonate Daniel. She gets back into the SGC, where she finds that Jack has freed himself from the alien containment chamber. Sam is able to disrupt the alien mimetic disguises using sound waves, and the aliens begin to flee through the Stargate as Mayborn's NID forces storm in. Sam is able to shut down the gate, and the remaining aliens all rage quit by self-destruction. With the SGC safe, Jack is begrudgingly forced to admit that Mayborn is not so bad sometimes.
Good summary, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good episode. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And, they avoided the trap of which Jack is the real Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they...
there's always got to have these episodes where there's, some body swapper impersonator or whatever. That it's always, you got the two of them pointing at each other, the Spider-Man meme of, he's the real one. He's the fake one. He's the fake one, Yeah, no,
I liked that you did get some of those tropes in there, but they kind of sidestepped that whole thing, which had just been done to death. So I like how the only joke there was that she forgot to take off her device to show that she was Sam and not Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did you know I was the real Jack before you shot him? I didn't. They didn't do that.
Nice. But what were your thoughts on this episode, Father?
Oh, I agree. This is one I've enjoyed, and I think it really is a well done. Alien impersonators take over the base storyline compared to some of them. We joke about it, but it's true. There's so many of them where they go for those cheap tricks. Of course, they have to have the special effects and everything. But no, I think they do a pretty good job with this one, and it doesn't get too bogged down in the impersonation stuff. Like I said, some scripts definitely can.
Yeah, it's felt like a lean, fresh take on it that was more about the just espionage getting back into the base than any sort of mind games. What about you, Lisa?
This is always a favorite episode of mine, and I have to say, rewatching it, I love the way they had Carter leave. Teal'c stayed behind, Carter gets out, and then she meets with Mayborn, which I do love Mayborn, and and of course he calls Jack and Daniel, and you're almost for a minute in that scene in the cafe, you're almost thinking, did this really happen, or are they kind of trying to trick us? And she really is crazy, right? There really was this hallucinogenic chemical that was leaked, and for a moment there, you're just not quite sure. So I love that they gave us that setup. And then she gets to shoot Jack, which I need to do a running count on how many times she has had to shoot or maim another member of the team, because this was not the first time, I'm pretty sure, and it's not the last for sure.
It gets easier every time she does it. Yeah.
So I love that little meet in the middle, of the episode. It just kind of gives you pause to think, wait, where are they going with this? So it wasn't completely obvious the entire time.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Victor?
Yeah, I think it's a good, solid episode. I mean, there's a lot of big holes in it, which we can talk about. And it's retreading, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Pretty much, it's a plot that's been done. One person has to stand alone against an army of imposters. But this seems like the kind of episode that would always be playing when you would turn on Stargate when it was in syndication, right? And this would be like in the middle of this, and you'd be like, "Oh, yeah, that episode. Okay, I'll watch this." It's one of those episodes where it's not like one of your favorite episodes, not one where you're like, "Oh, it's just that episode. I'll turn it off." But yeah, so it's a good, solid episode. There's some good bits in it, and a lot of like, wait a minute, why? Those sorts of questions come up, but
Yeah,
definitely. But it moves quick enough, and it's got enough going on that it's pretty easy to forgive the little plot holes that are in there. I do like how they kind of just put a lampshade on the whole the Thing reference, where he just when Sam is asking Mayborn to prove that he's not an alien, he just pulls out his knife, cuts his hand, which is just like a riff on that scene where they have to test the blood in the Thing.
Yeah, not a shapeshifter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. I also liked the beginning where we got Teal'c sneaking around the base. It was fun to see him kind of have some solo action going on with that.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
for a little bit.
The one who seems to wake up and figure out.
And as Teal'c is giving people concussions as he's sneaking around the base and like throwing people against the wall and like bashing their heads in, they're like he and Sam are awful quick to jump to the conclusion that they're imposters and not that they've just been like mind controlled. They're like, wow, you really like gave that guy a concussion. Good thing he's an imposter and he's sus, right? He was acting sus, right? He was among us. And and not like, oh, he's been taken over. And I think you may have just like really like he might be paralyzed now, you know?
Yeah. And or well, how about how many times did he double tap with the zap?
Yeah, exactly. We do get to see some good like long range Zat blasts, which we never see. It's usually like they're usually like point blank, and so he's like shooting the Zat down the corridor, and we get to see the beam, and that part was really nice.
Yeah,
I like that. I also noticed that the Zat doesn't do its like thing where the part pops up anymore. Do they just?
It's like $250 to make a Zat that does that.
Yeah.
Too many Zat.
Know this because.
Well, I mean, Zat. I'm on zatfancy.com a lot.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that this kind of flips the typical aliens taking over people's minds, where usually what happens is the team itself would be the one who would get invaded, but in this you kind of get to jump in medias res of the story where it's already happened and then they're coming in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So I liked that they changed it up there.
That's true. And I liked that when they came off, out of the Stargate, the very beginning of the episode, and they're talking about the rain and water in your ears and all this stuff. And General Hammond is there to greet them, which doesn't usually happen on a routine mission. And he's being very serious and very weird. And then Janet seems a little more aggressive than usual. Like something's, I don't know. You just kind of got the impression something was weird. And you're right, Jack. I hadn't thought about that. Usually it's the team, your flagship team, that always gets taken over. You think Tin Man and all these others, right? But they come back and everyone else is being weird. So,
yeah. I mean, who gives like shots in the butt anymore, right? Yeah. They make a big deal out of that in this episode.
Yeah, it was. I like how there was almost this part, and I don't even know if it was supposed to be comedic, but it's when Jack was getting ready for his shot and Fraser's there, and then she leaves, and then it's like this random other nurse comes in, and she looks like way too excited to be giving this shot.
Yeah.
And then they're talking, between all the curtains and yelling back. And I'm like, what happened to your ears? And like yelling back and forth. And then suddenly everybody goes quiet.
Yeah. He had water in his ear.
Yeah. What was there was like, Jack had a great line and I didn't write it down about.
How is the needle in my butt going to get water out of my ears?
There you go.
Yeah.
You're not a doctor. You shouldn't.
Yeah. No, I know. Follow the science.
That's right.
I did like how the Foothold aliens referred to the Goa'uld as like, just the prior like infestation by the dominant parasitic organizations or organisms in this galaxy. Like they're not caught up in the whole Goa'uld. Like they're just like, yeah, they're in this galaxy. There are these other parasitic organizations, and they're of no consequence to us. It was kind of what I got from that. They're just looking for a new homeworld.
Yeah, so the way I took that when I was watching the episode was that they were from outside the galaxy. But apparently, according to some other like extra stuff on one of the DVDs, they're from the planet, I think it's P116.
P3X11. Yeah. They mentioned it at the end. P3X118.
From there, or is that just where SG6 encountered them?
That's the way it's written in the script, but according to off-screen materials, they are from that planet. But the way it's written, it definitely seems like they came from outside the galaxy. Which, if that was the case, it would seem odd that they are doing a single vector assault this way, and doesn't seem particularly well planned. But they can have the Earth being taken over.
Yeah, I do like their shabby Geiger cheek that they have going on. Right, they're not quite full Geiger, and they're just kind of like low budget, like thrift shopped Geiger aliens.
What?
Like H.R. Geiger, like aliens, had like the whole thing that they did in Alien and stuff, but it's very low rent in this, especially when everybody's hanging from the harnesses, and poor Donis Davis, being a heavy set individual being held up by a groin harness.
Are we sure it was even him, or it wasn't a stunt double?
A lot of stunt doubles given speaking roles in this episode. That was the other thing I noted was I think every major character stunt double had like a speaking role in this, if I'm not mistaken. Like we had Siler, who Teal'c beats senseless, although it's just alien Siler though.
Yep.
That was good. Yeah.
And at one point, so when they actually shoot the aliens, they have like that very purpley, it looks like a Star Trek 6 Klingon blood. But at one point when Teal'c knocks he's got the human blood. So was he realizing
it was from him because he got shot?
Oh, okay.
I was also thinking, so did they actually replace everybody in the SGC, or because it was level 23, right? And they said it was closed off. It was quarantined or whatever because of the
gas leak.
So the chemical spill or whatever. So the question is, did they actually replace everybody in the SGC, or did they only replace a certain number and then the rest they just kind of didn't know what was going on and quarantined them? So
that's a good question.
That would make sense. But then not everybody, I mean, they're fighting because they were told to, but they might not all be aliens.
Yeah. Right. But you look at the number of the aliens that actually left the SGC. I mean, there's a lot of them, but I seem to recall there were, you would see like, security forces and so on that were unchanged when the magic tone was played.
Yeah. So that was the thing too, is like, I assume this was for budget limitations, but when everybody's hanging around in the Icky chamber and their little harnesses, I think there was supposed to be probably like 4 or 5 times as many people hanging there, and they just couldn't do it to count for like the number of bodies, because Jack would have looked around and seen that like Daniel is hanging here, so that when like Carter Daniel walks in, he would have said, "Oh, doppelganger," So that's one of the plot holes.
And did Daniel wake? Daniel didn't wake up, right? Oh, that's because his alien wasn't dead.
Yeah,
right. Once the alien went through the gate or was blown up, then he woke up.
Okay.
And I think at the end, Mayborn mentions that he had supported
his died.
He died of his injuries.
Why didn't his wake up? But I remember she didn't kill him. They captured him, and she took his changey thingy.
Which, if I'm Carter and I walk in and I see like the Frasier alien there, like the first thing, or even Jack, like the first thing I'm going to do is like shoot the Frasier alien, murder him, and then like Frasier will wake up and solve everything.
Yeah.
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 Good point. Although I guess we don't want to.
They're like, well, I mean, they're just like, oh, Dr. Frasier's still asleep. Can we wake her up? I'm like, yeah, you can by like shooting the alien that you've just like knocked out, but they don't know that yet, I guess.
True.
I like Michael Shanks playing Carter.
Yes.
He did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He did a good job doing kind of the personality and the way of speaking.
Mm-hmm.
What? Oh,
yeah. I think by this point we've had every major cast member playing every other major cast member in some sort of body swap scenario at this point, except for maybe Teal'c playing Carter.
We haven't had that.
I think.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That would be good.
It's always fun when they do those kind of episodes. Shows fail when they try to do that very early on. Like, you try to do like this in like the first season of a show, it usually doesn't land as well because you don't have the characters as well established. But once you get later on, it's always fun to see them do the personality shifts or the character swaps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the design of the aliens. You were just mentioning they're kind of H.R. Geiger-y looking, but I like that they're not just dudes in jumpsuits.
Yeah. With them.
You don't really get to see them. Even they have like those weird proboscis kind of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately shaped heads, unfortunately, but yeah, so we can't do much about that.
Speak English, which was nice. We have no idea. This one at the end gave this glorious speech, right?
Yeah.
But we have no idea.
Oh, that part was
also
unintentionally funny.
I regret I have but one life to live for my planet. And while our homeworld may not be found on this planet, perhaps it is still out there somewhere. And it just sounds like a
Yeah.
But that was kind of a nice touch, right?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been the same if he'd been saying everything in English. So it was just kind of nice that you're like, no idea.
Yeah, I had the captions on, and it was just like either like low volume alien chatter, like alien chatter, or like, you know, it was just like, yeah, they didn't translate it or anything. So
Nice.
No.
I do like that you also don't get. We just get glimpses of what their plan is. It's just we need to take over, but you don't really get more than that.
Mhm.
So it makes them kind of mysterious.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we don't ever see them again.
Mm-mm.
and
It
why
was
does
interesting that how Major Davis got there. If you think about it, so they said that once they took over the SGC, that then that Hammond alien called, and that, you know, they had this like, we're going to take over the Pentagon, and so that was, you're like, how long ago did this happen, and how detailed were their plans, and did they scout before they came? It was a lot.
and is SG6 dead now?
Yeah, where are they?
Yeah, we didn't get a resolution on that.
I have a feeling they didn't come through the gate, so they're probably either trapped on the planet or dead.
Yeah, we're going to get them.
And why, when they're all
But
anyways,
I was gonna say it's another one of these where they have to keep the person alive to mimic them, you know, because they have to read off their brain. What show is that? Where that there's another that's you know, there's other science fiction series that did that where the person had to be alive for the aliens to actually mirror them.
Yeah, and I like that they have not only do they have that one device on their chest that gives them like visual appearance, they have like that head thing, so they know all their thoughts. And when Carter mentions that, Jack's like, they know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is a big problem because an unknown number of aliens escape with basically the knowledge of every member of the SGC. And like the first thing you would do is, while the gate is active, don't shut down the gate, send a nuke through. We know you have nukes in the back closet, right? Run one of those suckers through the gate and just blow them all up before they have a chance to go back to wherever they came from.
I'm surprised they don't have, you know, the nukes hanging over the gate,
Yeah.
you know, literally like on a chain where they could just hit a button and it drops down and pushes in.
Yeah, really. Like a pendulum. Whoosh.
Yep. Release the nuke.
You just
The
did
sword
it
of
with
Damocles.
Everybody change your password. Or just change your password.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Speaking of counting things, how many things are they up to that the teams have to go through when they get back from the gate? Because they got to have health tests, they got to have injections.
MRI.
Now they got to have this high-pitched tone played to make sure that they're not the aliens.
Where like every alien that escaped is now.
Do they do the Re2 scan? I mean, you know.
I started making a list of all the times that either they've been taken over, the SGC's been taken over, they've been taken over, or a virus has gotten into the SGC. And I got up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 so far. Episodes where this has happened
season.
in the SGC. I don't, we're only
Everybody needs to make sure they don't have a Naquita bomb inside their chest. Yeah. Yeah.
right, singularity. Yeah. You message in a bottle with the whole thing. You know, I was just.
And it's not like the very
a
first
lot.
thing the aliens get through the gate. It's like, well, how'd they find out you were aliens? Well, they played a pitch at, 17,000 hertz or something. Okay, well, let's change our like armor now. It's like, going to be 19,000 hertz. Okay.
Let's change the frequency of our shielding. Now it's at 19,000.
Yeah.
They'll never figure it out.
Exactly.
Got to be some sort of like test that just circumvents everything else to determine whether or not you're fully human.
Yeah. Do they weigh more than a duck? I don't know.
Yeah.
I do like that they talk about that though. Like in Star Trek, they never talk about all the like containment procedures or anything other than in Enterprise, and we don't even need to talk about that.
Yeah.
No.
But I like that they do more with that here, where it seems like it's much more how it would actually be if you're going off to alien planets with unknown viruses and diseases and stuff.
Still, it is pretty funny. It's like, did you play the tone? Yeah, I played the tone. Okay. Did you scan for Naquita bombs in the chest? Yes, I scanned for it's like.
Did you do the Re2 detector?
No.
Yes.
No, that's still charging, but I'll go get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't they supposed to MRI on the back of the neck too for Gould?
Yeah, for Gould. Yeah.
Open your mouth. Okay, you're not Tok'ra. Look at the back of your neck. Okay, you're not Gould.
Are you a robot? No, you're not a robot. Yeah.
There you go.
Almost as bad as the TSA.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
You forgot to take the shoes off.
Maybe this is where the TSA learned it.
Maybe do they have the fast pass you can do with the TSA where if you pay a certain amount of money and fill out a form, you're automatically not dangerous anymore, so you can just cruise on through.
I think that's how SG1 keeps bringing stuff into the base because they have that fast pass.
Yeah. Well, and maybe when they're doing the Stargate today, the new series where the Stargate is released and it's commercial travel and everything, they'll have that. Here's the line for the Stargate when you gotta get scanned, and here's the line for the Stargate where you got the fast pass, and
I hope that if they do end up making a new show, and that's one of the plots they have, that it's publicly known, that we get to see what these large capitalistic companies would do with Stargate technology, and you just get really stupid things like Stargate doggy door.
Exactly. Wormhole for actual worms. Yeah.
Fake Stargate technology.
Yeah.
One thing I did like about we get to see some. Granted, she's an alien imposter, but Dr. Frasier has some good scenes in this one. Where they've recaptured Teal'c and they're being super nice to him, you went a little crazy on us, so we had to sedate you. Which you guys say that to me a lot now that I think about that. But no, but she's very sweet. And then once they realize that they've recaptured Carter, on a dime, she turns and she's like experimentation for you, So I thought that was a nice moment. Yeah,
I like that, and I like that. The scene where they're actually experimenting on the old larva in him, where it's pulled up in that cage thing, and she's that was
yeah. It does not like being pinched by forceps. We've determined that much.
We get aggressive, Frasier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Jack gets to layer out with a punch. That felt weird.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say it, he's unbuttoning her shirt.
Yeah, lady. Oh,
I don't mean this. Not real Dr. Frasier. Not real Dr. Frasier.
My kids are watching and they're like, me too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, this was 99. We didn't have that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall it was fun, and I like that we get to see more of Mayborn, and
yes,
that
this is where he starts getting more likable now.
Right.
This is where he starts, he becomes a more likable character.
Yeah, what'd you?
I did showing the technology of the time, his flip phone, his Motorola StarTAC flip phone.
What'd y'all think about the end? He actually gave Carter credit, and then he kind of stared at her, and she kind of stared. I'm like, someone I can't watch, but we all watched it together, the whole family. And one of them goes, "Is this gonna be like a Mayborn and Sam ship thing?" And we're like, no,
but the Jack Mayborn bromance grows in this. Yeah. Jack's like, you can come over anytime.
Yeah,
that's true. They do have a good bromance, don't they?
Yeah, and you get you did good.
Yeah,
I can give you credit for something for once.
Yeah, I liked what they did with this character, and you kind of get to see, and often in these shows you'll have the antagonist who's on the same side, but they're kind of a thorn in the side of the main characters, and the only reason we as the audience don't like them is because they are hampering what the characters we're supposed to like are doing. But if you look at them objectively, a lot of the time they're just doing their job, and they actually have a good point with a lot of things.
Objectively, he does some pretty bad things. I don't know if that's coming up but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
he's got quite the story arc. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
Well, it was fun to see.
Yeah.
More than one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not the mustache twirling villain, that he could have been.
But Mayborn only cares about one guy, Mayborn.
Mm-hmm. That's what's so fun is that you don't like him, but you like him. But I think he was kind of a fan favorite, not great guy. So you get to see him a lot, which
I look forward to seeing how he branches out. Sounds a little bit like a Goldie Cott or one of those characters where they're interesting and complex, but they're bad, but you still kind of like them.
Yeah.
It's the line from the movie Wreck-'em Ralph fits him well. You are a bad guy, but you are not a bad guy.
Yes. Thanks, Zangief. Yeah.
Now, I did think Major Davis, that was a strange addition to the episode because he didn't really have a heck of a lot going on, right?
Yeah, Major Davis was there too. Is really, I mean, yeah.
Shows up on the airplane and then he wakes up and then he kind of disappears. He woke up with Jack, right? But then he just kind of disappears.
Mm-hmm.
I do love how quickly Sam shot Jack though. That was very that was just it wasn't and then Daniel, you're kind of does she suspect that he might be Daniel and that's a real drama thing there. But Jack, she was just kerblam. Nope. Yeah.
Well, and they even said that they saw Daniel flicker at the same time, and it's just but she just blew away Jack and not Daniel.
And if you notice, she jumps up and goes over to the alien body, right? But she doesn't cover Daniel. They just kind of leave him standing there.
Maybe it's her subconscious because she knows that Jack in real life would be much more dangerous than Daniel. So subconsciously, that's just what she went to.
Good point. Wasn't really worried about Daniel doing something.
And why did she go to DC? I mean, when you think about it, how much time it takes to book a flight to DC, a commercial flight, right? And get on the plane and get over there. And they're going to be tracking her credit card or whatever she used to, you assume. And so it's why not call Mayborn and say, I'm in Colorado Springs, meet me at burger joint.
That was an odd choice. Maybe they needed they wanted the airplane. Oh, and they had to have the airplane.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The noise.
Yep. The really fancy airplane that
my kids were did she have an ID? And we're going, okay, back in 99, you didn't really there was no take your shoes off.
Yeah.
Your ID versus your flight, your boarding pass. That really wasn't much of a thing. You could just show up, put some cash on the table and get on a plane.
Yeah.
I mean,
you had an ID to get through security more or less, pull your keys out of your pocket and that was about it.
You show up with a goat and 2 chickens and you barter your way right onto the plane. I mean, that's just how it was done.
Put on your sunglasses and you say,
jump
out of the back of the plane with several $100,000 and never get found.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I was pretty young when 9/11 happened, but I still remember going to the airport when my dad was going overseas, and we were able to go all the way back to the gate and just chill behind security and hang out there for however long, but can't do that anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No. Much more difficult to get on a plane these days. Okay, we have not talked about Carter's best line of the episode, which my husband says is one of the top 5 lines ever in Stargate.
Got to do it.
Which was, Mayborn, you're an idiot every day of the week. Why couldn't you have just taken one day off?
Yeah.
Burn.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Mayborn's over there diagramming the sentence. Is this a diss or what is this?
Yeah. She's like, it was a foothold situation. He's going, well, you being paranoid is much more likely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What part of the the whole procedure is if this word is used, you pretend that she is telling the truth, and you send in the SWAT team immediately.
Pineapple. Yeah, it's
worst case scenario is she's wrong. You can trust her. And the worst case scenario, if you don't trust her, is that the Earth gets invaded by aliens. So I feel right there, that should be. He should just be completely kicked out of the chain of command, upon a review of how that situation went down, because he obviously did not do what he was supposed to do.
That'll happen soon enough, yeah. But
trusted the people who she said not to trust. So,
and then his airtight plan is, okay, so if the SGC has been taken over by people who impersonate you, when I get there, if they don't hear from me, if I don't radio back to them that everything's okay, that that there are no aliens that take over people, and right. Then they'll send in the SWAT teams and stuff.
They're not going to impersonate me.
Hi, this is Major Carter. Everything is just fine.
We're all fine here. How are you? Yeah.
That's
yeah.
feeling much better now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a horrible lack of planning on his part, but
Yeah.
he said he's an idiot every day of the week, so it fits.
You kind of wonder, well, maybe it was just Carol like butt kissing, but how did he get to be a colonel, right?
Father Cory? Yeah.
Politics.
Not his brain power is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. How does someone get to be an admiral these days?
Don't assume high rank. Don't assume high rank equals smart.
Okay.
How do you get to be a 4-star admiral these days, right? I mean, yeah.
Anyways,
Well, okay, so the cloaking impersonation devices on their chest, they don't talk about it at the end, but not everyone blew up, and they do have some in their possession.
Yeah.
And so I was looking at a website and it said, so do we, what do we have? Do they still exist? Was it those of us who've seen all 10 seasons know they do exist, and we will get to see them again.
That's right. Michael Jackson uses them in his black and white video. No, they come back in the show.
We get to see a few of them, because it does come up who still survived. So, and then they get used. So that's kind of a cool bring it back. I didn't look it up. It's like 4, 5 seasons from now. It's much later, isn't it?
Let's hear it.
The whole NID situation.
Episode Smoker and Miller. Episode 6 or season 6.
Nice.
So 3 more seasons.
They keep that continuity there. Another thing I really liked was that it was almost like the alien vacuum seal machine that they slide you into on the gurney, and then you come.
Yeah, I did like that. It was like the star, machine from the Sneetches episode. So,
oh my God,
yeah. Like a food processor, you just put the person in this end, and then the weird alien connections come out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The cool lights that go down it to show you that it's working.
That was my only real hiccup of the whole episode. Was I don't feel like this. I don't know. It didn't feel like it really held up well. Like, you're looking at it, you're watching the tentacles, then the harness, and then they kind of jerk it up, and I was like, oh, that should have been done better.
Yeah, the special effects were definitely, but I don't know.
Yeah,
part of the charm.
Yeah.
We do have the 2 firsts in this episode. The first episode written by Heather A. Ash, and which she only wrote a few episodes, but was story editor on quite a few more. And the first episode directed by Andy Makidia, who would go on to direct a number of Stargate SG-1 and Atlantis episodes. I think it was, like 29 episodes of SG-1 and 22 episodes of Atlantis and 12 episodes of Universe. So this is his first. So there are some really cool, action scenes. And if this episode feels like, quintessential Stargate, it's because he, did direct, over 60 or 70 episodes. Yeah.
On.
Between him and Peter DeLuise.
Yeah.
I think that's what you kind of like it. I feel like with Stargate SG-1, the first episode is kind of nostalgic to me. I mean, the first season, but now I feel like we're really hitting the groove of why you came to love Stargate. By the time you hit season 3 and then season 4 and season 5, and I think those seasons in the middle are really my favorite. So we're just kind of getting into it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So it's been fun. I need to get my wife into it. She's not started watching it with me yet.
Yeah, definitely do.
Yeah. If she likes ship, there's a whole lot coming next season. Man.
Nice. You got that to look forward to.
Yeah. You're like, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. Do y'all have any other thoughts on this episode?
Oh, go ahead.
One thing I will say is, a bad idea is shooting a gun in a pressurized cabin, in case you miss, and it no longer pressurized cabin. That's generally a bad idea.
Yeah, but I mean,
it worked.
Your options are get killed by alien or maybe depressurize the plane.
Yeah.
Flip a coin. Did you have something, Victor?
I just liked was it Carter's G-Shock watch? I thought that was really cool. The Casio G-Shock, with the timer on it. Yeah, it never goes out of style.
Oh yeah.
I think at Mass today someone has one of those and it went off because they heard the classic beep beep,
Yeah.
beep beep beep.
Loud too. Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty cool looking. That's one thing I don't like about the Apple Watch is how absolutely hideous it is. Like, it's a useful thing, but it's not a good looking watch.
Yeah. I mean, it's hideous in its like pervasiveness, I would say.
And that's why I got a Fitbit, which looks almost identical,
exactly.
just not. Yeah.
Yeah. First the two,
Big
baby.
black square.
Yeah.
Samsung's really got the best looking one.
Yeah, they do. It's round. Yeah.
The watch should be.
Like a Stargate.
There you go.
Hey. That's what I want.
The swatch, we could call it.
The swatch.
Yeah. Synchronized swatches, gentlemen.
If you could get like, if someone hasn't done this, they need to do like a Stargate watch face for the Samsung watch where it like has like the effects and everything. And
yeah, every hour it plays the sound.
Like it swishes when you, I was going to say it swishes when your alarm goes off.
I need that for my iWatch.
Yeah.
That exists?
no, probably, I don't think so. I'm just thinking because the Samsung one is actually circular.
Oh, yeah.
It would fit better.
And there is a for Wear OS, there's a Stargate watch.
Oh, there's
watch face.
There's a lot on here on this website called Watchmaker. You can make your.
I figured there would be.
Of course.
Somebody would have it.
Ask and you shall receive.
Thanks for not letting me down, Internet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. We do have some feedback from our episode Forever and a Day. Paul Leone on YouTube says, "I'm a big old baby, but I think this episode worked for me more than your gang. Will Daniel ever find love again? What could possibly fill the Shara void in his heart? Perhaps some Australian accident rogue?"
Or perhaps a genocidal question mark, biologist who wants to wipe out all civilization, right? In the very next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Will Daniel Jackson find love again? Oh, do you mean like in the next episode, or did you mean like ever? Many, many times.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
More permanent love than just the crush of the week.
Yeah, he hasn't. He never acted particularly urgent about finding Shara, so it was kind of fell a little bit flat with his feelings on that. But I guess
Well, but every time you step through the gate, that was the reason.
But did you notice in this episode they reference the Harcesis child and they call it Aminette's child and not Shara's? And I thought that was an interesting choice.
At the beginning, they mentioned that because they thought that the rain planet they went to could have been that, and that was not really a plot that factored in at all.
No,
because we're gonna go to Keb in a few episodes, and so they just keep mentioning it. But I just thought it was interesting they called it Aminette's child and not Shara. I wonder if they were distancing us from Daniel's dead wife.
Could be.
I wonder if it's the way like residuals work with television writing credits, where if you mention something that another writer came up with, you would have to pay them. Maybe you couldn't say Shara's name if you didn't want to pay whoever had originated that character.
You just have to say, you just have to say the old ball and chain. Yeah, so every time I step through that gate, I wonder if the old ball and chain is waiting for me.
Yeah.
Then you don't have to. Yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the Secrets of Stargate, including Gavin R., Joseph L., Donald W., Greg G., and Paul C. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. And to find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send feedback, please visit sqpn.com/Stargate. You can email us at stargate@sqpn.com or follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com or on Twitter at SQPN. And be sure to check out our Discord at sqpn.com/discord. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, Pretenses. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of Stargate.
And thank you, Jack.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack, and tetrachloral ethyl murmaline.
What? And once again, I'm Jack Baruzzini. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?